Hi guys, and welcome back to Beauty Fortified. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Sue and I make videos about hair care, skincare and makeup aimed at the more mature woman. And today I wanted to share with you my top 6 MAC eyeshadows. Now, why MAC, you may ask? Well, I really like the brand for their consistency and the quality of their eyeshadows. They are across the board generally very good quality, and they also have a whole range of shadows from mattes, shimmers, metallics, satins, and everything in between. The other thing I like about them is that once they have a color or a shade in their permanent range, they generally keep it that way. So if you fall in love with a shadow, you'll always know that you can go back and get more once you've run out. So that's another thing that I really like about the brand. And in terms of their innovation, they really haven't come to the party over the last few years, but I consider that in a way one of their strengths, because they are a kind of known quantity and you can pick and choose your individual colors to make up a palette. So it's a great brand to consider when you're putting together a capsule makeup wardrobe. Now, in terms of choosing 6 shades, I do love the MAC shadows overall, and it really was quite a hard task. I originally limited this video to 5 shades, but I just couldn't. So I decided to make it 6. So what were my criteria in choosing my top 6? Well, I decided to go for the shadows that are the hardest working. So these are shadows that I reach for most often, and some of them have a couple of different purposes as well. So the first one I'm going to start off with is a shade called Haux, and this is a matte shadow, and it's kind of described as a beigey taupe with a hint of pink. So it looks like this in the pan. You can see that I am down to the pan, and I have bought this several times over the last few years. And this is a great crease shade, or you can use it all over the lid. In fact, all of these shadows you can use as one and done eyeshadows all over the lid. But this is a beautiful shade. It has got a kind of rosy pink vibe to it. I'm not sure how that is going to translate on camera, but it's the one that I'm wearing today. I have got this in the crease, and it is just a beautiful neutral shade with just a little hint of pink. And I really love this color for pairing with pinks, purples and lilacs. It's a great transition shade for that. The next shade is also a great transitional crease shade, and it's in the color Sandstone, and this I would describe as a mid kind of taupey brown. And this is great if you have hooded eyes like I do. You can use it in the crease to make your lids recede. You can blend it out, so it's just going to give you a sheer wash of color, but it is going to help blend, make your lid recede, should I say. So this is a great one, and I do find that these mattes blend really, really well. So this is a perfect one if you are building up a capsule makeup wardrobe to have in your stash. It really has a multitude of uses. I also love using it on my lower lash line because it gives just a hint of definition and a hint of color if I'm going for very light makeup days. So really love that one. Then the next color that I have here is Embark, and it's described as a warm reddish brown. And this has got a beautiful consistency. It really does have a very blendable consistency. You can blend it out to almost nothing. I am wearing it today. I'm wearing it on the outer third of my eye, and I have blended it away. I also like to use this on the lower 2/3 of my lower lash line, and I also use it to define my upper mobile lid. So I've used a little bit on the corner of my mobile lid today. This is a really rich color. It's really quite blendable, and I love using it just to accentuate eye looks. So just with a tiny bit on the outer corner, or again, you can use it all over the crease. You can blend it out, you can sheer it out so that it gives you just a hint of color, or you can be quite bold with this. But it really is a beautiful, very useful shade to have in your collection. So that is Embark. Then I wanted to include a couple of shimmers because they do their shimmers really well, and these are 2 that I have been using for years and years. Now the first one is called Sable, and it is a kind of metallic bronzy shade. It looks like a kind of run-of-the-mill bronze in the pan, but it's the one shade that I've never been able to find a dupe for. This is just such a gorgeous shade. It applies really beautifully, and it has got a little bit of sheen. These have really got great staying power. This is beautiful on green eyes or blue eyes. It'll really just make them pop. So it is considered a neutral, but it's something that you can add to your collection just to give you a little bit of glamour for the mobile lid. I also use it on the lower lid to define my lower lid as well. You can use this as an all over shade, just gently blending it into the crease. It is just an absolutely stunning shade. And then I have also got the shade Satin Taupe. Now this is a kind of taupey color with a little bit of silver shot through, if I can describe it as that. It is a little bit cooler than Sable. I will compare them side by side. So that's what it looks like in the pan. And this is just it's a kind of cooler taupey lid shade. So cool taupes are really good to use along with warm taupes, because if you have a warm complexion, the cool taupe is really going to make your eyes pop, whereas a warmer one will be a more kind of blended in everyday look. But I do love a little bit of a cool shadow. Now this one is the one that I'm wearing on my mobile lid today, and this is really such a workhorse. Again, you can pair this with mauves or lilacs, and here I'm just comparing the two. So you have got Satin Taupe at the bottom and Sable at the top. They're quite similar but quite different at the same time, and I just love the quality of these as well. They do last all day on the lid. You don't have to use a lid primer, and again they just give you a little hint of subtle glamour to the eye. They're really understated, but at the same time they can really make your eyes pop. So love those ones from MAC. And then finally, the shade that is probably the biggest workhorse of all of them, and that is the shade Omega. Now it looks like absolutely nothing in the pan. I would describe it as a light beige taupe. It doesn't really show up in my crease. I sometimes use it just to smooth out my lids. If my lids are a little bit oily, it just works as a great eyeshadow base, but it doesn't really lend any color to my lid. But I do use it as a contour shade. So I use it to contour my cheekbones, I use it to contour my nose, and I have got a little bit of it on today. It's a great one if you do find that it suits your skin and it does show up, because it gives you just a hint of a shadow. So wherever you want to contour or make things recede, it will just add a little hint of a shadow. So it's an illusion. You would look at it and say, well, is that her cheekbone or is that a shadow, kind of thing? And that's what I absolutely love about it. I have swatched it there. It's coming out, it actually is showing up on the monitor. But this is really such a versatile shade, and I ummed and ahed about purchasing this. I purchased it a couple of months ago. I've already got myself a backup. I just fell in love, and I really don't know what took so long. And that is the conundrum with a lot of eyeshadows, not specifically MAC eyeshadows. They can look like nothing in the pan, but once you try them on, you can really find shadows that are unexpected, that you just didn't expect to work. So that was the beauty of Omega when I finally got my hands on it. And so guys, those are my top 6 MAC eyeshadows. I am going to link my video on my top 5 MAC blushes in case you're interested in watching that. Let me know what your top MAC eyeshadows are, if any. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Please don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Ciao, ciao.